Shalom. I just wanted to take a brief moment to encourage my brothers, the countless men who reach out to me on social media or who I run into when I'm out and about, just taking care of my daily business. Right now, I'm at my mother's grave. This is a place I come to release, reflect, and reset. My mom, just like many men, a mother represents nurturing. So when we lose her, we feel like there's a big hole in our heart that nothing could fill. I have an amazing wife, and because I'm emotionally free or liberated from emotional incarceration, I can cry in front of her, and I can cry laying my head on her lap. And what's amazing is, especially in the African American community, we'll see these iconic pictures of an African king, or even just a black man laying over on his wife's lap while she's caressing his head as he cries and releases the pain or the trauma that was in his heart and his mind. But it's so difficult for us as men to actually do that. I was just talking with a friend of mine. He's out of shape now. I mean, like, I'm concerned about his health. And what's crazy is when we met, he was actually, he worked at a fitness center. He was in great shape. And as we were talking just last week, he looked at his stomach and said, "Man, I got to do better. I'm not taking care of myself." And I said, "Bro, you have the discipline to do it. You just don't desire to do it." And if we be real with each other, and I looked him dead in his eyes, I said, "You don't really care about living anymore." Silence. And that's what I want to talk about briefly. I guess it's fitting that I'm at a cemetery because so many of us die before we get buried. And I believe one of the main reasons for that is because we've allowed this world to define what it means to be a man. Personally, for me, I'm a man of the Most High. I'm a follower of Yahushua HaMashiach, which is Jesus the Messiah. And I understand being a man is much more than operating in masculine attributes such as strength, boldness, aggression. I understand that I must also be a nurturer. I understand that I also must be able to receive nurturing. I understand that I also must be compassionate just as I am courageous. I must also be tender as I am tough. I must also be sensitive as I am strong. When we fall in line with this masculine mentality, like the fact that we say to each other, brothers, stay strong when we're hurting, that right there is a warning sign. In that moment, we need to tell each other, brother, be weak right now. Release that trauma so that you can be free before that trauma turns to drama. That's why I say it all the time. We walk around, man, with the threshold right here. And then when something happens or someone bumps into us or someone cuts us off, we at 10 because we stay at 9. We have to learn how to release daily, brothers. And it's okay to be tired. It's okay when things are wrong. It's okay that when things are wrong, you don't try to be happy. That's called being fake. One of the greatest gifts we have is the power to be sorrowful. The power, or the freedom rather, to express sorrow and the freedom to lament. Do not allow this society to put you in this box that you gotta be this way all the time. Even when you're stressed, even when you feel that you failed, you gotta put on this fake facade that it's all good because you strong. I'm a man. Brother, every man I know like this, when I meet them and hug them, they break down because they tired of faking it all the time. I talk about that in my book, Cry Like a Man, how, brother, when my wife had 5 miscarriages, I was so, I guess, conformed to the way of the world that I didn't even know how to express how I was feeling. I couldn't cry with her because I was taught that I had to stay strong all the time. But what she needed was to feel my emotion in that moment. That's why there's such a great disconnect in marriages, and then we wonder why the divorce rate is so high. To my sisters, as I was studying recently, that women file for divorce more than men. And as I continue to read the study, it makes sense. Women won't settle for, I guess, a subpar relationship, or a relationship where the man is not putting out what she desires. But here's the problem, my sisters. I want you to understand that society, and this is not an excuse, this is a result of the society that we're living in, training us as men to be emotionless. So when we feel pain, we've been trained to not express it, or we would be weak. And then we're only shown images, or these buffoonish movies will show a man coming to his wife and then she dogs him for being weak. So we said, whoa, I can't go out like that. But let me tell you something, my sisters, you have a great power. You have the power of influence. You can ask any man this right now. If women only wanted to date men who worked at a fast food restaurant, there'd be a line around the building at every fast food restaurant. My wife has done an amazing job at making me feel comfortable being a human being. Yes, it took major work on my part. So again, my brothers, it's not just on the women, because I desire one day where a sister would say, like we always say, man, if it wasn't for my wife, my queen, I couldn't have done it. I can't wait till I see a woman, especially a black woman, say, if it wasn't for my husband standing by me when I was going through all that I was going through, I would not be here right now. That's what I desire, and that's going to take for us to work collectively and do the hard work introspectively. Let's talk about marriage real quick. Man, I know so many, man, brilliant, beautiful brothers who want to get married. But the fear of allowing a woman to really get into your life, to know who you are, because when you get married, you know you can't just put on that smile all the time, that charm and beautiful smile you got, or that suit, or that vocabulary. You can't just spit those words and just charm her all the time, because she's going to see you when you're weak. I'm telling you, brothers, you're missing a great blessing when you do not marry the woman God has placed in front of you. Listen to me. You have to do the work now, man. You gotta practice at home. Start crying in your car. Start just releasing it. Start practicing being vulnerable around people you can trust. Because trust me, yes, it's scary. That's why I hate the saying when people say don't be scared. What are you talking about, my man? There's things to fear. I can't tell you how many brothers, if they would have just entertained, or not entertained, but if they would have listened to why they were scared in the moment, they would still be here. And I've buried friends because they bought the lie that a man could never be scared. So they stayed in a situation or area where they knew brothers were shooting. And they stayed there because they had to be, I ain't no punk. Now they dead in the grave. So don't buy that. That's garbage. It's a lie. And if you buy that, what happens when you feel fear? You're going to say, man, I must not be a man. And you keep buying that. Next thing you know, you're trying to kill yourself or you contemplating suicide. It's not a coincidence we die by suicide 3 to 4 times as likely as our women. Marriage, listen. It's beautiful when you can tell your wife, I'm scared right now. This is testing me. I don't know how we're going to get this money, but I got faith that we will. Man, that's liberating. When you can do that with your wife and in your children and in your home, man, this stuff, your negotiations, your business deals, investments, if you're playing sports, football, whatever, basketball, it's nothing. The home is a training ground for a man. You want to rule your emotions? Stop running. And run towards. Stop running from them and run towards what's causing you to shake. I mean, we all want to be hard, right? We don't want to be no punks. No one does. But why don't we take that same mentality and really do what's really hard? It's easy to fight someone, put some hands on someone, to tap someone out. That's easy. The hardest part is fighting that person in that mirror. Fighting what's causing what you see in yourself to not be who you know the Most High destined you to be, or predestined you to be. So I could end by saying stay strong, but that's foolishness. You can't stay strong. It's impossible to be strong all the time. So I say, I ended with the scripture. It's only in our weakness that the power of Christ is perfected. And what that means is that as long as we think we can do it ourselves, and there is nothing else that's going to help us to push through, and I'm speaking for myself. I ain't got to proselytize to you. I'm going to share with you what worked for me. First and foremost, brothers, if I didn't have a relationship with the Most High through Yahushua, I couldn't make it. Let's just be real with you. Because it's written that he who keeps his mind focused on the Most High will keep them in perfect peace. I can have a beautiful family. I know men with great families who have shot themselves in the head and they're no longer here. I know men with great wives cheated on them. I know men with beautiful children don't spend time with them. In that weakness, that's when the power of Christ is seen. Because everyone is saying, whoa, I know that brother wore out. How is he still standing? Wait a minute. His grandfather was lynched. His mother, they grew up in a community where they didn't want them around. Both of his brothers was killed. His best friend dropped dead of a heart attack. His wife had 5 miscarriages. It's no way on earth he could stand here. He almost died from shoulder surgery. He almost died in a car accident. He almost died in an accident at work. How is he so weak but yet so strong? I just gave you my life. I'm so strong because I allow myself to be weak. To my friends who are martial artists, especially grappling arts, it's nothing more beautiful when I see a setup for a submission. Basically, you got this force coming at you so strong, but you give to it and be weak, and then boom, you got them. That's what I'm talking about, brothers. Be weak, but put yourself in an advantageous position. Be strong as well, but don't try to be strong all the time. I gotta go, and just wanted to share that with you, and I hope it blessed you and encouraged you. Shalom.